CVA's Accura Series, Bagara barrels for guaranteed accuracy, nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
All right, guys, this segment's being sponsored by Soul Shine Pizza. They're at 4021 Hughes Crossing, Suite 101 over in Franklin, Tennessee. Y'all get down there and see my buddy Steve Brandon. They can also take care of all your catering needs. You can give them a call, 615-379-7767. Get down there and enjoy their lunch specials Monday through Friday. And be sure to tell Steve thank you for all he does for us here at the show. All right, guys, if y'all want to call in, you can go ahead and do that, 615-737-7767. And while we're waiting on a few calls, guys, we've been talking about fishing ledges, and we've talked a lot of crankbaits tonight, but for just a few minutes there, John, you're using a football jig, and I want to talk about that for just a minute, because on that video, and we talked about it in the break a while ago, but it really looks like you're just ripping that bait, but you're not. You're really just kind of whipping it as you're pulling it up. And about how far at a time is that bait coming off the bottom of the lake?
Maybe 6 inches.
And that's all you want, isn't it?
It looks like it may be rising 6 feet.
Yeah. But
it's maybe 6 inches, and it's falling on slack line. So what you're doing is you're pulling that thing up off the bottom, and it's falling to the next level of the ledge. So even if you were pulling it up the ledge, it would jump up, and it would sit on the next level.
Down a little further.
And what's happening is the bait's falling on all slack lines, so it has a really natural look to it.
Yeah.
Where when you're hopping it and moving it, it's just something coming to you.
Yeah, it's a totally different, and the reason I bring that up too, and I know Dayton's already thinking what I'm talking about, but Dayton's talked to me about that a lot of times, and how important it is how not to move that jig too much. A lot of people, you'll see them fishing a jig, and they'll pull that thing, and they don't realize they're pulling it 2, 3, 4 foot at a time. You know, cranking, and it's always, you just want a few inches at a time, but the way you're lifting them, bring it back on that slack line is really the optimal way to do it.
And you could learn that just at your house on the deck or in the carport. Just take your lure and throw it over there against the wall and just pull the pole, and you'll see you're moving that lure 5 or 6 feet if you're moving your rod. That's why you just move it just a few inches and stop it and just move it a few inches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you're moving it 5 inches, you know, you're pumping past the drop.
When I'm hopping the jig like Brandon was talking about, I'm jerking 7, 8 foot of slack line off the water. I'm not just jerking the line and you're hearing it snap. I'm jerking all slack line off the water. It's twirling down to the water and laying limp on the water, and I'm just jerking that slack line up. I hit it about, I don't know, 10 o'clock maybe.
Well, we got a couple calls coming in. Let's grab our first one here. Christopher, how you doing tonight?
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing great.
We appreciate you calling tonight. How can we help you tonight?
Okay, I want to know what is the best test line for a 1/4 ounce of a rooster tail.
Okay. 1/4 ounce bait.
Well, it just depends on like where you're going. If you're in structure, you might want to use a little bit bigger line to get it loose. But if you're in open water, 6 or 8 pound test line. But always use a swivel with a rooster tail. Whether you're using a spinning reel or a bait caster, put the swivel on there, and that keeps your line from twisting. And that helps the bait work a lot better.
Yeah, and it will wreak havoc on your line.
And it will wreak havoc on your line without a swivel on it. And swivels are black and silver and gold.
Yeah, I like to use a 7-foot poke.
Yep. Well, you know, you can either 10 pound or braid, 6 or 8 braid.
Too, it depends on what you're trying to catch. But in most, you know, most of the time a 6 to 8 pound test will catch just about anything. But, you know,
yeah, I like to use a 12 pound.
That's all right too. You know, as long as you, no matter what were y'all throwing in that video tonight with those crankbaits? I don't know what you asked.
I was using 12. He did.
That's
early
right.
in the
He
thing.
did. That's right.
I was using 12 pound fluorocarbon line, which is a whole lot heavier than I used to use.
Yeah. Yep.
The bait there weighs almost an ounce.
Right.
So that makes a big difference. But yeah,
So where do you recommend fishing in rivers?
If it's super clear water, you get away with the lightest line you can, 8 or 10 green. Don't use nothing bright. Try to get something that'll match the watercolor.
Yeah. But we appreciate you calling tonight. We're kind of cutting in and out, but
well, I enjoyed talking to y'all, and thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, and thank you for tuning in.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Have a great night. Thank you. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Good, yourself?
Doing well. We appreciate you calling.
Well, thank you.
How can we help you tonight?
Like a quick question.
Sure.
Center Hill Lake, have y'all got that straightened out as far as the dam wise and as far as fishing up in that area?
Yeah, I tell you, they've got the I've actually been up here quite a bit in the last few weeks, but they've got the water up pretty good right now. And what's happened with Center Hill, and you may already know this, but when they had that water down so long, Dayton,
that's right,
a lot of trees grew in Center Hill that weren't there. And I mean, these are trees that are now
20 foot
sitting
tall,
in 20, 25 foot of water, and you can't see but the top 5 foot of them sticking out. So it's changed a lot of the places you fished and the ways you fished them the last 4 or 5 years. You've got to change that. You got to look at it totally different now.
And they've put so many lights on the dam on both sides that it lights up the whole part of the lake over there on both sides, below the dam and above the dam.
Yeah, it does. But again, as far as that water goes, they've got it straightened out pretty good. It's a lot safer to put in at the ramps now. I know before it made me nervous. They were so steep up there. But it's a lot better. And then Dayton mentioned that new ramp up there. It's real nice. They
It's
did
real
a great
nice,
job with it.
and it's full of fish. Center Hill's loaded with fish.
Okay, I was curious about we haven't been up there for a long time, so I was curious about the ramp and getting down there and fishing that area. So it's been a while since we've been up there, so I was curious.
Well, I think you'll enjoy it. You'll find a lot of those trees I'm talking about and locate those on your points and things like that, and you'll find some smallmouth.
Fishing-wise, as far as what to use up there, it's been a while since we've been up there fishing.
Yeah, well,
What would you throw, John?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're all different. If I was going to Center Hill, I would throw, myself, I'm kind of a finesse fisherman, I would throw a Ned rig up there or a worm, a lightly rigged worm. But again, we're all different. John might throw a crankbait or something. What would you do, John?
I would be fishing 25, 35 foot deep, probably with a Carolina rig, a jig, or a drop shot.
There you go. So,
And there's people catching fish out of those trees when the water gets muddy, flipping them.
Yeah.
You can flip those treetops.
Okay.
And there's got to be crappie. There's crappie all in those big trees.
Yeah,
those 25.
I like crappie.
Yeah,
and
they're in there.
They're in there, and there's great big ones in there.
Is it really?
Yeah. Center Hill's got monster crappie in it.
Take you a 16th ounce jig up there in a natural color, and drop it right down there beside some of those trees.
Yeah.
And you'll find some crappie.
Indian Creek used to fish up in that area also.
Right.
I know that area a little bit.
I've been there once or twice myself.
A time or three. No, you should find some fish in that area. You really should.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck getting up there and call and let us know. You get up there and catch a bunch of fish.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, well, have a good night.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, I tell you, Center Hill,
It's changed.
It has changed a lot, but I think a lot of it's for the good. But a lot of friends of mine, and some of them are watching tonight, they know who they are, but things have changed on them a little bit. You kind of had to back up and look at it a little different. But, John, you hit the depth right on the nose. A lot of times people will go places like Center Hill and Dale Hollow, and they're used to being at Old Hickory or Priest or something. They're getting up there by those banks, and they don't realize the fish are 15 yards behind them.
Yeah.
You typically want your boat sitting in 40 foot of water there, 45 foot of water, and you want to be casting into 15 to 18 and pulling it back through that 20 to 25 foot range.
Well, you're looking at fishing the edge of that new growth.
Same concept, just like you've been talking about
fishing the edge
tonight.
of that new growth, and that the good thing about Center Hill right now is to me it's probably going to be one of the better lakes in the mid-state for the next few years because it's like a new lake.
It is.
When they drew the lake down and all this growth came in, it's like a brand new lake.
It is. Well, guys, we're going to get ready to take one more quick break. We'll be right back with some more Southern Woods and Waters.